of the country's finest scientists, was transformed into the world's first super soldier. Now he fights alongside the Allies as a symbol of freedom and liberty for all the world.
Think you know everything about America's Star-Spangled Man? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Captain America facts.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield.
Number 10, there have been Caps other than Steve Rogers.
Hey, pick on somebody your own size.
Steve Rogers is by far the most famous person to take up the title of Captain America, but several other comic book characters have assumed the role when Rogers was unable to. Following Rogers' apparent death in 2007, his former sidekick and best friend Bucky Barnes became Cap. In recent years, it's Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, that took up the position after Rogers lost his super soldier enhancements. No matter who holds the mantle of Captain America, however, they all fight to defend democracy and the American dream.
Hey! Let's hear it for Captain America!
Number 9, Chris Evans has appeared in 5 other comic book films.
He's good, right? Sometimes I let him do the wide shots when I feel like getting blazed back in my Winnie.
Chris Evans has taken up the role of Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and has done a fantastic job capturing the personality and drive of Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I had to improvise a little bit.
Evans' success could be a result of experience, though. In fact, he starred in 5 other comic book films, including playing the Human Torch in 2 major Fantastic Four films, and Lucas Lee in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He also starred in Push and The Losers, both of which were adaptations of comic books.
I'm warning you.
I am a lethal killing machine.
It was a secret government experiment. They did stuff to me. Spooky stuff. Anal stuff. Turned me into a dangerous telekinetic.
Number 8. He is worthy of Thor's hammer.
Oh, please be my guest.
There's a great scene in the second Avengers film where each member of the team tries to pick up Thor's hammer, much to the Norse god's amusement. No one is able to carry the hammer, although Cap does make it move slightly.
Nothing.
In the comics, however, Cap is able to wield Mjolnir. One of the most famous occurrences was during a battle with Seth, the Egyptian god of death. With Thor down for the count, Rogers, at the time using his alter ego, the Captain, picked up the hammer and returned it to Thor's grasp. This is something that Marvel loves to have happen whenever Thor needs a pick-me-up, literally.
So there may be no way to make you trust me, but we need to go.
Number 7, Stan Lee's first published work was a Captain America story. Today's most recognizable figure associated with the comic book industry, Lee's first ever published story involved Captain America.
I thought he'd be taller.
At just 19 years old, Lee's story, titled Traitor's Revenge, appeared in Captain America Comics number 3. With help from Bucky, Cap is able to prevent a disgruntled soldier from murdering an American colonel. The story also featured Cap's famous ricocheting shield toss, which would become one of the character's main trademarks. Number 6. He was the first superhero in the Marvel Universe.
Beige, give me a line to the Colonel.
3 a.m., sir.
I don't care what time it is. This one's waited long enough.
While he wasn't the first superhero to be created by Marvel, he was the first superhero to exist in the Marvel Universe. In a fictionalized World War II, the US Army tested the super soldier serum on a scrawny boy named Steve Rogers, transforming him into a physically remarkable human being.
I think we did it. You actually did it.
How'd you feel?
Taller.
Rogers would be given the codename Captain America and participated in dozens of important battles during the war as a member of the Blue Spaders, the 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry Regiment. Number 5. Steve Rogers was an artist who made comics.
Come on, you're kind of missing the point of a double date. We're taking the girls dancing.
You go ahead, I'll catch up with you.
Of course, Steve Rogers wasn't born as Captain America, so what did he do before he was transformed into the patriotic hero? Naturally and suitably, he was a comic book artist. Most people know how Rogers was an undersized boy who wanted to serve his country during World War II, but few were aware that he was also a fine art student who was studying illustration and also worked as a comic book writer and artist. Of course, once he became Cap, his career as a comic book artist got put on hold so he could star in the comic books instead. Deep, bro. Number 4, he's older than Marvel.
Hey fellas. Either one of you know where the Smithsonian is? I'm here to pick up a fossil.
As previously mentioned, Captain America is one of the oldest superheroes. In fact, he's even older than Marvel. Cap was created by visionaries Joe Simon and Jack Kirby in May of 1941, 20 years before the creation of Marvel Comics. The first Captain America stories were actually part of Timely Comics and were reintroduced under Atlas Comics in the 1950s.
The world has changed. None of us can go back. All we can do is our best. And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
While both of these companies would eventually be recognized under the Marvel name, they technically were not considered Marvel at the time, thus making Cap older than the company.
It was not my first kiss since 1945. I'm 95, I'm not dead.
Number 3, his partner was the first mainstream African-American superhero.
Sam Wilson.
Steve Rogers.
I kind of put that together.
Marvel hasn't been too afraid to push the boundaries with their comics. In the turbulent 1960s, smack dab in the middle of the African-American civil rights movement, a new sidekick appeared to aid Captain America, the Falcon. First introduced in Captain America number 117, the Falcon became the first African-American superhero to appear in mainstream comics, and the first character of African descent to not have the word black in his name. The Falcon, also known as Sam Wilson, would help Cap for numerous years before eventually taking up the role of Captain America himself.
You're out of your depth, kid.
Number 2, he wasn't actually the first Avenger.
You're not going alone.
You gonna stop me? Put on the suit, let's find out. I'm not afraid to hit an old man. Put on the suit.
Although the Marvel Cinematic Universe elected to go with Captain America, the First Avenger, as the title for the first Cap film, this is actually incorrect. He wasn't even a member of the original team.
You might have missed a couple things, doing time as a capsicle.
The first Avengers were actually Iron Man, Thor, Wasp, Ant-Man, and the Hulk, all characters considered to be B-list at the time.
It's good to meet you, Dr. Banner. Your work on anti-electron collisions is unparalleled, and I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
This would only last for a few issues, however, before the Hulk left the team and Captain America took his place. He would eventually move into a leadership role, but he was not a founding member, despite being the face of the team.
Call it, Captain.
All right, listen up. Until we can close that portal, our priority is containment.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Each one you buy is a bullet in the barrel of your best guy's gun.
Pull hang the noose on the goose, stepping goons from Berlin.
Bring back the girls!
Number 1, the first Marvel superhero to have his own movie. Although it's only lately that comic book movies have taken to the big screen in an even bigger way, the Cap was first seen on the big screen in the 1940s. They chose Captain America as the first hero to have his own movie in 1944, in the form of a black and white serial film. Several key aspects of the character, however, were changed. District Attorney Grant Gardner takes up the role of Captain America and attempts to stop the Scarab, a villain by night and museum curator by day.
You, the Scarab?
Yes. I'm the Scarab. It is my vengeance which is striking at all of you.
It was a much more standard and typical superhero story, and we wouldn't get to see Cap battling it out with the Red Skull in World War II until many, many years later. And even that was, well, you know. Do you agree with our list?
Oh, man. I am so fired.
What's your favorite Captain America fact? For more great top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Avengers!